Before we jump deeply into C#, let's just talk about some language fundamentals. Every language has a certain way that you're going to actually work with it. We're going to talk really how to do some basic things. We've already seen some ways of writing code within C# just to let everybody get into the whole language of how things work. This is more or less the aspects of different ways of writing within the language here. If you specify something that's a keyword, you're going to see that in your light blue here. Keywords are reserved words that are used within the C# language using namespace, class, for, while, all those words that you're going to be able to specify to do certain things like public, private, static, void. You're going to see those in light blue, in this bluish color. Even your variables, your variable types, different types, string, class, integer, float, things like that. And you'll notice that throughout the time that you're writing within an editor. An editor might pick its own colors. You can customize your colors. It's up to you. Comments are going to be in this greenish color in visualstudio.net. You specify these two forward slashes to get your comments for a single line, and then this syntax if you want to have multiple lines. If you want to add multiple lines for your comments, you would do it like that. This starts the comment group. This would end it. And also, when you're creating your method calls, it's common, or a nice way to actually write this is to place your open bracket below the line that actually uses it. So this method is going to have this open bracket and it ends here. And this is going to be represented with this particular nesting. You can see so many spaces are nested here. And you're going to get the auto indentation and things like that. You see this works for a for loop as well. And for is a keyword. And that's how you would present that. It's a really nice way to do it. It's standardized. I suggest you do the standard way of doing things. When you call your method, or when you create your methods, you can actually create your methods here with parameters that are going to be passed. This is just a string of arrays, and the variable name is here. And you can have multiple parameters within your methods. So this method is going to be able to have two types of parameters here. An array of arguments and an integer. Not necessarily with this case, but that's how it would work in general when you're working with your methods. So if you're used to working with JavaScript or Java, then you're going to feel right at home. Even C++, you're going to feel right at home. And it's just a matter of getting used to some of the different changes in syntax. And, of course, you always have to have your semicolon at the end of each line. This is not going to be loose like if you're doing something with JavaScript for working with client-side web programming, or even server-side web programming, where you don't have to necessarily specify that semicolon. You do have to do that within C#. So different things you need to do within the language. And we'll go over all the aspects of the language. This is just to tie the knots of bringing things together from what we've already talked about.